everybody, and welcome to episode 121 of the This Old Knit podcast. I am your host, Nina, otherwise known as Ine, on Ravelry, Instagram, and Pinterest, and you can find show notes for this episode and all previous corresponding numbered episodes in the This Old Knit Ravelry group. Thank you all for joining me today. Welcome to any new viewers, and welcome back to any returning viewers. I am actually recording on a new phone, but I flipped it the wrong way, so my camera's over there, and I will do my best to look at it as much as I can, but I'm used to looking to the left, and didn't think about that when I set it up, so it will be what it'll be, right? I will do my best. My apologies first off for last episode. I had a lot of weird lighting issues, so I was facing towards the window thinking that was going to help, and it actually had the light behind me. I had a 3-wick candle burning, which is like a giant just mass of light. Bad choices all around. I am back in my regular spot for podcasting, so this is just a little corner of my craft room. I use our second living room as my craft room, or as I affectionately refer to it, the yarn parlor. And so that's where I am today. This is my lovely basket of yarns that are mostly indie dyed. So this is what's left of my No Makers stash. And then this is some of my Yarn at Home mom stash. It won't all fit in here. So she has another similarly sized basket on the other side of the room. Yes. And then the bottom basket is all Felici yarns. So, I have quite a few things to show you this week. I have two FOs and a bunch of whips. I have some cross stitch. I have some sewing that's soon to be under my needle. I have some ideas for yarns to use for new projects. Some acquisitions, some pattern acquisitions, and a Rhinebeck recap because Rhinebeck happened. So let's get started. So as far as administrative stuff, just at the top of the episode, I have 2 CALs that are currently running. One is the fall make-along. So in that one, you can do any kind of craft whatsoever, as long as it pertains to fall. I think that I said that one was going through November. I'm sorry, I didn't check, but there is a thread in my group that is for fall make-along FOs. So whips are of course always welcome in any of my CALs or make-alongs. If you're new to my podcast, that has always been my rule because I have a million things going on, and I always have a lot of stuff on my needles, and I like to dabble in many crafts, so I have quite a few things in progress, and I go through sort of phases of starting new things and then finishing all the things. So typically around this time of year, I start finishing a lot of things that I've had sitting around for a while. And I feel like that's kind of kicking in. And then the other CAL that's going on is year-long knit along or crochet along, and it is called the Stash Your Shelf Challenge. This is my second year doing it. The only rule is that you had to own the pattern or have the yarn as of December 31st, 2018. And you can use it and it counts. So that I do quarterly prize drawings, and I think I'll do, kind of one everything out of the whole thread for ending the CAL. And I'd like to get people's thoughts on if you want me to continue that into next year. And I have another CAL idea as well, where I would like to do kind of 2 designers that I really love and want to knit through some of the patterns that I own of theirs. So Andrea Mowry and Hoki Locatelli are 2 of the designers I really, really enjoy, and I have a lot of their patterns, like a lot. So if other people are interested in that, I could host a knit along for that, which would be year-long knit along, and it would be Andrea Mowry or Joji Locatelli patterns. They both have some free patterns, so it would be inclusive to everybody. I know Joji has a beautiful shawl that is free. Andrea Mowry has like some mittens, I think fingerless mitts. I believe she has a hat. She also does sales pretty frequently. Joji does some sales as well, usually on like as she releases new patterns. So yeah, I was chatting with Kristen about it, and she said I could do some kind of amalgamation of their names, and we were talking about Mojoji, because like mojito. So that's stuck in my head now, the Mojoji cow, like M-O-W and then Joji. So it might be the Mojoji cow. But yeah, that I definitely want to do just for myself, even if nobody else joins in with me. But I could run it in conjunction with the Stash Your Shelf Challenge. Maybe like you could double dip into both if you are knitting something that is Andrea Mowry or Joji Locatelli. And then if you want to do the other one, the Stash Your Shelf Challenge, you could as well. So let me know in the comments or in the Ravelry thread, and we can make it happen. Okay, that's enough waffling. FOs. So one of them I have with me, and one of them I do not, because I already gave it to the recipient, who is my sister. So first thing is my Rhinebeck sweater. I finished it in time for Rhinebeck, and this was a sweater that I was knitting also for the Woolly Thistle sweater knit along. It's basically to knit a sweater in a month, an adult-sized sweater, and to use at least 80% sweater yarn purchased from the Woolly Thistle. So over time, I had amassed different quantities of tuku wool. So this is all tuku wool. I believe it was the just tuku wool fingering, not tuku wool sock. And I used 3 colors. I will come a little bit closer so you can see it. Sorry for the sun as I lean forward. The first color is Uyo, which is a beautiful mauvey pink. And it's dyed on like a gray wool. So it's got a very nice heathered, soft effect. The second one is Kayo, I believe. Pardon my Finnish. And it is a burgundy, sort of brick burgundy red. And then this one is Sake. So it is a milky, creamy white. And the pattern is the Vinterfjell yoke pattern by Skein-Deer, and I love it so much. I have worn it a bunch of times since I finished it. I wore it to Rhinebeck. It was the only one at Rhinebeck, but a lot of people complimented me on it and asked me the pattern, and quite a few people said, I have that pattern. I really need to knit it now. I've never seen it knit up. So hopefully I enabled a few people to go and knit their own Vinterfjell. It's a really well written pattern. I knit the size 41 inch bust. So it gives me just a little bit of positive ease. I decreased very quickly on the arms because I did find that the arms were quite large here, and I don't have huge biceps. So I did a much quicker decreased series than the pattern called for. I knit one sleeve, and like I was doing the normal pattern called for decreases, and it made this weird like chicken leg type shape. So I put that one on hold, and I knit the second sleeve doing a very rapid decrease, and I preferred that. So I actually ripped out my first sleeve, went back, and knit the second sleeve to match. So I made them nice and long, so the cuff actually comes to like there on my hand, because I intended this to be a sweater that I wear for when I'm walking. Sorry, my ear's ringing a little bit. And it's been really nice. because the weather has definitely turned to being autumnal in Connecticut. So it's really nice to have a sweater that's warm enough so I don't have to wear a jacket still. And hopefully I won't have to wear a jacket until it is full on winter. I'll be able to just chuck this on and wear it for being outside. So yeah, I used 5 skeins of the Uyo, and I actually ordered 2 more, being afraid that I was going to run out of yarn, and I had enough, and I had maybe like, I'd say 10 grams maybe left of that, and a little bit of the Kayo and Sake as well. But the yardage called for in the pattern is quite accurate. So I love it. It's very beautiful, and hopefully I will put in at the beginning of the podcast, you know, some shots of me at Rhinebeck in my sweater. And Tuka wool, I have a hat out of it, and as you wash it, it just gets softer and it blooms really nicely. So it's a great yarn for color work, and it's very affordable as well. So I think it retails for around $11 a skein. So, you know, it's very reasonable compared to using an indie dyed yarn, you know, for the sweaters. The sweater probably cost me like, what, $60 or so. I guess a little bit more than that, because I said I used 5 of that, and then I had 2 more. But I also bought it over time. Since it's not an indie dyed yarn, I was able to spread the purchase of all of the yarns out over the course of 2 years, really. Because I got 2 skeins of this intending to knit mittens, and I ended up not, and, you know, adding them into this sweater. But it was fine. Like, the dye lot was pretty good. Yeah, bud.
Dad wants you to look at our berries that grow.
Oh, yeah.
Now.
I know.
It will be faster.
Okay, let me pause. Okay, sorry about that. So Joshua and my husband are walking outside, and he just realized that our raspberries were fruiting. And I've actually eaten some of the raspberries before, but he hasn't had any yet. So he was very excited to find them. Okay, and my second appo, as I said, I don't have with me. It is the Mari mittens, also by Skate Gear, oddly enough. They are colorwork mittens from her second Cell Blue Mitten collection, I believe. Yeah, I think they were like the second or third pattern that was released. And I started them last December for my sister for her Christmas present. Yeah, they kind of went by the wayside. I knit them out of Blacker Classic DK. Blacker Classic DK in light blue or something like that, and then Blacker West Country Tweed in olive. So the main color was blue and the contrast color was olive. And I actually had knit the Cavello mittens for Kristen for her Christmas present the year before in the inverse color palette. So the main color was the olive tweed. The contrast color was the light blue Blacker Classic DK. I'm really sad that the Blacker Classic has been discontinued, both the DK and the fingering weight, because it's a really nice colorwork yarn. It's very affordable. It is woolen spun, so it's very light and fluffy. The West Country Tweed is still available though, and it is really nice. It doesn't come in as many colors. I think it maybe comes in like 5 or 6 colors. Versus the Classic came in a ton of colors. It was a good range. And I think it was like $5-ish a ball. So you could get a pair of mittens for $10 and they're really great. So I have quite a few pairs of Colorwork mittens knit out of Blacker Classic. So I will insert a picture here of both the front of the mittens and the palm of the mittens. If you'll recall from last time, I showed you that I messed up on the second mitten. I had actually like messed up on the chart and I went up a row, like thinking I had finished it. So I ripped back, like I had got all the way to the top of the second mitten. So I ripped back and I reknit that, and I knit the thumbs while my sister was here, and I gave them to her before she left after visiting for Rhinebeck. So here you go. Right? They're so cute. They turned out great. So again, a very well written pattern by Ellie, and I enjoyed knitting them. I definitely want to knit my way through the rest of that collection. I will probably do the Speedy Selbu mittens next because I don't have any bulky weight mittens, and I have some beautiful yarn that Cheryl, who is Cheryl Can, gifted to me I think last year, and it's in the raspberry cordial, and it's like a lavender color. I'm looking at it across the room, but I think that those will make very pretty Speedy Selbu mittens, and I could probably get 2 pairs out of them if I then flip the colors, or maybe I'll flip the colors and make a hat to go with the mittens. So anyway, those were my 2 FOs. And then as far as whips go, I've been working mostly on my sweater for my husband because I want him to wear it for the family picture. That's going to happen around like the Thanksgiving time frame. But in the interim, whenever I didn't have that with me, which there's been a couple times where I've been somewhere and I haven't had that with me, or I was at a point where I didn't feel like I could work on that, I was knitting on my So Faded in Yellows. So here's where I'm at on that. I'm actually quite a ways down. I'm on my, let's see, 1, 2, 3, my 3rd color. So I have finished doing my fading portion. This is totally going to blow out because of the sun. I've finished fading that color combo there, and then I'm on to the 3rd color, which is I'm Ready to Wallow Now by Adelaide Cottage, and I love it. I also, on this sweater, have one of my acquisitions from the wonderful Noelle of Charmed and Dangerous. So, funny story. I bought a pumpkin narwhal from her, and last time that I podcast, I wanted to show it, but I had lost it. And I thought I lost it forever. Like, I thought it fell out of my project bag and it was never to be seen again. I felt like I remembered putting it in a Notions pouch, but I checked all my Notions pouches and I couldn't find it. So I messaged her and I said, hey, is there any way at all you're going to do more pumpkin narwhal stitch markers? I get it. It was like a one-time thing, but I loved my pumpkin narwhal with a love that is probably not appropriate for a stitch marker. It brought me so much joy, and would it be possible if you do another update with them that you could let me know? And she said, oh, I would totally make you another one. Do you want me to make a custom listing for you? And I was like, yes. So she said, I can't promise that it's going to be the same color because that was kind of like a one-time clay mixing that I just did on a whim, but I will make you one. So anyway, when she set up the listing, I added another charm to my cart as well because she had such cute stuff. So that guy, it's a pumpkin donut. Oh. Yeah. He's so cute. He's got tiny pink cheeks. He's so sweet. And this is my favorite little gnome. So anyway, I got the pumpkin, and then one of my narwhals is on the next whip I'm going to show you. Because I found the second one. So when I was going to make the bed, before all of the guests came over, I was like, well, while I'm changing all the sheets, I'm going to change our sheets for our bed as well. And I pulled the bed out to get kind of behind it to tuck the sheets in. And this notions pouch fell down. And I was like, that is the notions pouch I haven't checked. And it was in this notions pouch. So now I have two. Now I have two. Hang on. Okay. So the next whip that I have is the Stoker Shawl by Kristen Lehrer, who is Volenvine on Ravelry and Instagram. And I was test knitting this shawl. I did not get super far. She had actually told me to hold off on testing it because she was having it be tech edited. And then she just released the pattern. So that's fine. So she said, just, knit it at your leisure. And it is a very fun knit. So I definitely have been knitting it. So it has bobbles that go down the center spine. And they're supposed to be like vintage buttons almost. Let me put my hand behind there so you can really see them. Yeah, and they look really good. They're really popping. So I'm knitting mine out of a yarn that I picked up at Wool Gathering a couple of years ago. And it is an alpaca, I think from Hillstream Alpacas or something like that. So this is the cake. It's a monster cake. It's got like 690 yards or something per skein. I have like 3 skeins. This calls for a DK weight. And I think it calls for 4 skeins of her DK weight. However, I had this in stash and I wanted to use stash. And it is a sport weight. So mine's just going to be a little bit more lacy. But I think with the alpaca, that'll actually be good. So it won't be so dense. So far, I've got five bobbles. And then I think when I get to 8, it will start having garter ridges in it as well. And then it'll obviously start getting a lot bigger. And then it has a really pretty lace edging too. And on that is my narwhal that was the replacement pumpkin narwhal. So there he is. He's a narwhal. His horn is like the stem of the pumpkin. Let me get him in front of my hand so you can really see him. Isn't he so cute? So he has a pumpkin stem horn and like a little leaf, and then he's holding a glittery heart. Can you see why I loved him? So this is the second one, so he's a little bit darker than my first one. And he is sitting on my Stoker shawl. So this is kind of what I'm using to break up the monotony of knitting the navy blue sweater for Josh. However, I'm really getting a lot of progress on that sweater, and I'm trying to do like 2 to 3 inches a day just so that I feel like I'm making progress. And it became much quicker once I separated for the sleeves. We also figured out, fun fact, that his torso measurement and mine are the same, especially from here down. So I have to knit it to the exact same length that I would knit a sweater for me, which is nice because then I can just try it on and go, okay, that's how much more I need. So 16.5 inches is how much I need to knit for the drop from the armpit to the bottom. And I'm at 10 inches. So I think I have about 4 more inches, and then I'll start the ribbing because I'd like to have about 2.5 to 3 inches of ribbing on the bottom to have a nice you know, deep rib. So that is my Stoker shawl. And then since we're talking about it, I'll go ahead and show you my sweater that I'm making for him. This is probably going to have everything fall off here because, yep, there it goes. Let me put these down here as I go. Okay, so this is in my bag by Shelly Can. It is a Rhinebeck bag from last year. It's a really nice tote bag. I did not get her design for this year. It just wasn't really my style, but I do love her bags, so I definitely can recommend them. So I'm knitting his sweater out of navy blue Barocco Vintage, and that's a worsted weight yarn. I'm knitting the Gramps cardigan by Tin Can Knits, and I'm doing the 56-inch chest measurement, which I believe is the double XL. So here's what I've got. Let's do it this way so you can see it. So I've made a lot of progress since last time I showed it to you guys. So here's the sleeves. It's all separated for sleeves. I've got that much knit below the sleeve separation. It's going really well. So as I said, I need about 4 more inches on the body, and then I will start on the ribbing, which will go a lot faster actually, because purling back across these rows, I'm a very fast knitter. I'm a pretty quick Norwegian purler, but not as quick as my knitting. So I prefer to purl, obviously. Here's my other pumpkin narwhal from Charmed and Dangerous. This one you can see is lighter. You can definitely see his pumpkin horn. I love both of them, and I'm really happy that I have a spare. So now I get to have a pumpkin narwhal on 2 projects. And it's keeping me motivated to keep on knitting. So, yeah. It's going to be a really warm sweater. And if you're not familiar, the Gramps cardigan is a shawl collar cardigan. Knit top down in the round. Not in the round. Knit top down. Flat, obviously, because it's a cardigan. It's not steeped. And it has pockets as well. I don't have the pattern. I was going to show you the pattern, but I don't have it with me, so I can't show it to you. But I'm getting out the other little things, the bits and bobs from Rhinebeck, to show you as far as what I got. And then I also have patterns in here too. So this one is Stoker. I feel like I didn't print out the actual pictures, so I'm trying to save ink. Okay. So that's it on WIPs, really, for knitting anyway, because this guy is pretty much all I'm working on every day, all the time, because I want to get it done, and I don't have that many weeks to do it, and it is a giant man sweater. So I'm really happy with the progress I'm making, though. I think I will be able to do it, which is pretty exciting. And if I don't finish the sweater for Joshua, he'll still have handmade pants, because I'm going to sew him another pair of the sandbox pants in navy blue. And then Megwin is going to have like a navy blue dress with little glittery hearts. If I'd thought about it, I would have brought that fabric up here, because I need to bring it up here anyway. I think I'm going to start on her dress this weekend, so I can get a jump on that and, you know, take the box and get that one done. So as far as cross stitch, this is in an acquisition from a few weeks ago. So I purchased from Nerdbird Makery. She had an update where she was doing the Feminist Knit Club bags. So this has leather handles and a waxed canvas bottom and these really nice drawstrings. And she was doing a thing where if you purchased one, a certain dollar amount was going to go to the eventual Democratic nominee, whoever they may be, once we've picked one. So I definitely wanted to get in on that. So I bought one during that shop update. And I've been using it to hold my cross stitch. So I've been working on the Spooky Sampler from Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. I don't think I'm going to get this done in time for this Halloween, but I've made quite a bit of progress. I'm really happy with how much progress I've made, given that I've really stopped working on it in the evenings in favor of working on the sweater. And before I was deciding I was going to do the husband sweater in time for the pictures, I was planning on having this done for Halloween and entering it into the pumpkin make-along that Gabby from Once Upon a Corgi is co-hosting with Joanna from Stitching the High Notes. So anyway, here it is, the Spooky Sampler. I have it on hand-dyed linen. It is, I believe it's Cashel linen, so it has sparkles, which you can't see because it's too sunny. But I've completed this square, other than the little bottom part under the cloud, because I did not have that color. I do have it now, I just haven't wound it up. I'm working on the ghost here. And then I did some of the moon and the owls. So each block has things that start with the letter of the block. So the O obviously has owls, the W has a little witch, the L has lightning. This one has lollipops, so it has two ghosts on it, and there's, hang on. No, this one's an A, so it's like, ah! Yeah. The H is a haunted house. This other L is lollipops, so it has different, like, little Halloween lollipops. The E is eyeballs, and then eek, so it has a little, like, mouse, some other stuff, and then the K, I don't remember what the K is, let me see. K, there's no K in Halloween, Nina. Good grief. The N is ninjas. Oh my gosh. What, Halloween? What am I doing? Halloween. Yeah, the eek is a black cat and a little mouse with some cheese. So that's the E. The other E is eyeballs. The N is ninjas. So there's like a little bucket of candy and a ninja. Okay. Tired. So anyway, there's some really nice pockets inside. So I have a little notions pouch with some scissors and my thread guide. And it's nice. It's a good size. I love it. It's working great for my cross stitch. That's that. I love Nerd Bird Makery, and if I could have all of Tao's stuff, I would. So that brings us to acquisitions. So I'm wearing one. This I bought at Indie Untangled. Tao was there this year, and I think last year she had some stuff in Shelly Can's booth, but this year she actually had her own booth. So this is from Nerd Bird Makery. I almost bought the sweatshirt. She has like these wide neck sweatshirts that look so comfy, but you know, I was saving some money so I could also buy things at Rhinebeck and didn't spend everything at Indie Untangled. So, but I did buy the t-shirt because you know, I need to wear more than one t-shirt, and the Nevertheless She Knitted was getting a little worn because I was wearing it all the time. So now I can wash it and wear a different one. I will come closer though. So it says Fuel Up on Fiber, and it has different, you know, treats, but they're made of yarn. So it has yarn ice cream, yarn sushi, yarn noodles, and yarn boba tea. The little tapioca balls are balls of yarn. Isn't that cute? And it fits so well. So comfy. I love her shirts. So that was that. And then what else did I buy at Indian Tangled? Let me show you the yarn for Joshua's sweater first. So Joshua's sweater for the family picture, I'm going to knit him a Flax Light by Tin Can Knits, which is the free pattern on Ravelry. And I'm going to do this color for the neck. And then I'm also going to do a chest band, kind of like a wide chest band, and probably little arm bands as well. I haven't decided yet. And then the cuffs and the bottom ribbing in this, which is just a mustardy yellow. So this was a doppelganger set from No Makers. This is Gnome Some Dove, which was like one of my very favorite colors that Amanda dyed. And it is a tweedy, warm caramels, golds, and like a dusty blue. And it's on her Scruffy Gnome base. And then the doppelganger came with this one. And I actually have another skein that is, you know, I had a skein in my stash. So those two together plus this is more than enough to make a sweater for Joshua. So that's what his picture thing is going to be. So navy blue pants with that. And then I will be wearing a dress. So I'm going to make the Monetta dress by Colette Patterns. This is a pattern I've had in my stash for a while. I'm going to do this one. So that's like sleeves that go to here, which I think will be perfect for California weather, and it'll be pretty versatile, more broadly, instead of doing like long sleeves, and I didn't want to do no sleeves. So I think that's a great compromise. It has pockets, which will be also really nice to, you know, stick my phone in or whatever for the picture, or to have chapstick and stuff like that in. So that's the Monetta dress. I think I'm going to do a muslin, a wearable muslin with this fabric. It's kind of similar in weight. It's a little bit lighter, but it'll help me with getting the fit right. And then, you know, that's a reasonable dress to have. But the fabric I got, so Josh and Megwin will be in navy. Joshua and I will be in gold. So the mustard, sorry, those were the colors. So I bought from fabric.com some jersey knit. That's this. So the colors are navy blue, mustard, burgundy, black, gray. I think that's it. So this is mustard and burgundy together. So it's mustard with like burgundy flowers on it. So yeah, that'll be my Monetta dress. And then it'll be something I'll be able to wear to work as well. And I think if it had a burgundy shawl with it, it'd be really beautiful. And I do have some yarn for a worsted weight shawl in Dream and Color Classy. I've had it for years in my stash. It originally was purchased to make a Hey Teach sweater, but I'm never going to make it. So anyway, it'll be a shawl instead. My friend Andrea, who came to visit me for Rhinebeck, she had one that I borrowed from her when I went to Ohio, and I loved it. So I definitely need one of my own. So that's what that is going to be. And then I'll start with notions. So at Rhinebeck and at Indian Tangled, first, I got to see Gigi and I got to give her a hug. So India Entangled, I wore the sweater that I knit with the yarn from my Aunt Lynn's stash and the different autumnal colored stripes. So I'll insert a picture here so you can see which one I'm talking about. And as part of that, it had an orange stripe on it. So I was like, Gigi, I'm wearing orange. So anyway, she gave me this sticker, which I think I'm going to put on my phone on the back. And hopefully it is not reversed. I think I did that fix on the new camera, but if I didn't, it says, hello, I'm worth it, and hashtag know your worth. So she was handing those out to people, and yeah, thank you, Gigi. And then I also met Caroline, who's Dender Knit from the Knitting Vicariously podcast, and she had asked for, or she was doing the Glorious Gold along. So I was like, I have the the gold stripe right here. So I was like, gold boobs, we need to do that. Because in her podcast, she always like stands up and shows her sweaters. And she's like, oh, it's this kind of sweater boobs. So we did a shot together of our chests. But I love that she was a good sport about it. And then we did like a more normal shot. So I will insert those here as well. So thank you, Caroline, for playing along and being a good sport with that. It was pretty fun. And then I got a pin from Cat Sandwich Fibers. So she ran out of these at VKL, and I missed getting one. But it's her logo, basically. So she has a little, like, kitty sandwich. But I liked this one with the gold, and she said she's gonna probably order them with a different metal, but I really like the gold, so I made sure I picked one up. So it's gonna go in one of my bags. And then we went to Needles Up as well after India Entangled, and we just went there to get the cider donut scent from Martha. So I got 2 of the cider donut hand balms, which I love Martha's hand balm. This scent is amazing. And I also got the sock soap. So I'm stocked up now on sock soap for a little bit. And then at Rhinebeck, after I went around and did everything, we were hanging out on the hill waiting for my friend Andrea to be done with the phone call she was on. And I tend to, like, when I'm at places, I like pick up trash because I can't stand for things to be littered. And this was like the hill after the meetup. There was nobody there, and there was like stuff all over the place. So I started like going and picking things up to throw them away, and I had like a little bag I was putting them into, and I found things. So I found this little wooden marker that is designs by Yasmin. So I'm guessing she probably was giving these away. So, it's just a little bulb stitch marker with a little wooden thing on it. But it would be a nice little zipper pull. And then I found this pin, which is hilarious. A little sheepy pin. So I put it on my Notions pouch. And the last thing that I found was this was upside down, like all mushed up in a pile of leaves. And it is an adorable Christmas tree cupcake stitch marker from Color Grace Fiber. So whoever lost this, I'm sure is very sad. But yeah, it was just in a pile of trash and leaves. So I rescued it from its sad, sad fate, where it probably would have been thrown away by the venue people when they went and cleaned everything up. So that was the stuff I found. My sister was like, oh my God, why do you keep finding stuff? I'm like, I don't know, I'm being a good Samaritan and cleaning things up. So that's my reward, is that I found a bunch of things. Yeah, I think that's all I found. I might have found a sticker also, but I don't remember. I might have found a sticker. So that was that. Sorry, I have a little bit of allergies too, so I'm trying to like suppress my coughs, but I'm drinking out of my Canada mug sent to me by the delightful Jessica. So then, acquisitions. Let's see if I can get these to not be ready to fall over. We used the bag I had the acquisitions in for trick-or-treating. When we went to trick-or-treat yesterday at my kids' school. I'll talk about that in a few minutes. So my friend Andrea and I kind of separated, as did my sister and my niece. I dropped them off at one of the gates, and then I went to park. Normally, that took me about 30 minutes. Then I went in and I had to go to the bathroom. The line for that was another 15 minutes. So about an hour later, I was texting them, hey, I'm ready to meet up. So the first thing I did is I went to the letter buildings. So there's kind of number buildings and letter buildings. And my sister was in the letter buildings. So I went to those first. And I purchased really the biggest purchase of the weekend. And it is yarn to make the maple syrup cardigan. I will insert a picture here. I've also posted it on Instagram, but that was the thing I wanted to get yarn for because I wanted a natural gradient in undyed sheepy yarns. It calls for DK weight and I believe 6 different colors. They knit it in Madtosh Twist DK, but I wanted to do it in, as I said, naturally occurring sheepy colors. So I went to the Foxhill Farm booth because I knew from last year I got the most amazing Cormo from there. And Kristen clued me into that, so thank you, Kristen. And so this year I wanted to go there first to see if they might be the ones who had the gradient because I knew they had fingering weight, but I thought they also had DK, and they totally did. And in fact, I met up with several other people there. So like Gabby was in there for a little while. Mina was in there from Knitting Expat. Sam was there, who's the dyer behind Lavender Loon Yarn. And I hung out with her a little bit at Indian Tangled as well. We chatted at VKL earlier this year. So that's when I met her. So this is my gradient. I'm so happy with it. I'm really excited to knit this up. They're not all the same base. Some of them are pure Cormo. Some of them are Cormo silk. And some of them are Cormo Morit yarn. But they are all DK weight. They are all from Foxhill Farm. And they are so squishy and soft. Like, when you say stuff is sheepy, these are not rustic, but they are undyed and they are amazing. So Cormo is a mixture of Corriedale and Merino, I believe. Like the sheep is a Corriedale Merino cross, and I think it's a US based breed mostly. So it seems like we can get access to this yarn, but people from other parts of the world don't have as ready of access to it. So you can see all the beautiful colors that it comes in. So everything from like a pretty snowy white, cream, a little bit more buff, kind of getting into the caramels, a little bit more caramely, and the super deep chocolate brown. So that will be my maple syrup cardigan, and I'm so freaking excited. This is probably going to get cast on when I finish Josh's sweater, because I think this is going to be a sweater I'm going to wear like every day, forever and ever. I will squish it and love it. I will name it Mo. Anyway. Yeah, so that was my main purchase of the Rhinebeck weekend, is this yarn for a sweater. So then I texted my friend and said, I'm done now. Now I may explore and maybe find stuff, maybe not, but I will be happy that Rhinebeck is complete for me. And she texted me and said, hey, is 560 yards for $40 in DK weight, a good deal. And I was like, yeah, it is. And she said, okay, well, I'm going to get some. And she then showed me the booth. So this is Gail's art in the full figured gal base. It is DK weight yarn. It's 560 yards of superwash merino. So this is a sweater weight, or a sweater quantity of DK weight, which I don't have very much DK in my stash. I have 2 other sweater quantities besides these 2. So very little, but it seems like a lot of designers are coming out with DK weight patterns. So this one is really pretty. It's kind of between a blue and a gray. There's parts of gray and parts with the really nice blue. The base is called, the colorway is called Storm Cloud. So this is definitely going to be some kind of sweater for me. I'm thinking maybe something cardigan-y, but really basic, so that I can have it, you know, really showcase the yarn, maybe with a little bit of cables or lace panel or something like that. So yeah, super squishy, and I'm very happy with that purchase. So that was all the yarn I got at Rhinebeck. That's everything. So in the Untangled, which was the day before, we were in the 12 to 2 slot, and I kind of wanted to, as I said, get DK weight yarn and then also get some mohair. So I really wanted Gabby's show color, and I wanted to look at some of the new vendors who had not been there before. So just to show you, I had a fade in mind, and these are all yarns I already had in my stash. Side Tiptoe by Kristen Bolonai. This was the skein I showed last time that I got from her for a thank you for test knitting for her. So it's a very, very light baby pink. And then the next color was going to be this one. So this is the leftovers of Jilted Rose that Marianne sent to me to finish my Tanya. I used very, very little of it though, and it made me sad that it was just going to sit in my stash. Then this one is a Primrose Yarn Co. I got this on sale at Knit New Haven, which is a local yarn store to me in Connecticut. So kind of those 3 together. See, they're all those same kind of mauvey colors. And then the last one is this one, which is a Misfit skein of Wool and Vine Yarns and Jilted Rose. So it's a little more on the pinky end. So there was going to be my fade. And my thought was, what if I held these double with a mohair of only one color, so I could blend them even more and, you know, knit something. So I think I'm going to knit a Sperry sweater, but as a fade, so not striped. So I'm going to use that pattern, but I'll fade it. And so I got 3 skeins of Gabby's show colorway, which was previous yarn engagement on her mohair base. So there they are. Oh, it's so beautiful. This is her fig lace. So it is 70% kid mohair, 30% silk lace weight. So I'm going to hold that double with these. So I think it's really going to make it blend beautifully. I have a picture that I posted on Instagram that shows the pictures a lot better, and it's just a beautiful like pile of mauvey gorgeousness. And I said I'm going to call it mauve on mauve action, which Gabby thought was funny. So she's like, yes, I need to see this mauve on mauve action. So there it is, mauve on mauve action. That's going to be a really pretty Sperry sweater. And I think I won't do the split hem, so it'll just be ribbing on the bottom. But I love the neckline of the Sperry. I wear my Sperry all the time. And it is comfy, so highly recommend that pattern. So those 3 skeins of fig lace were one of my purchases. And then, like I said, I chatted with Sam, who I met at VKL. And apparently her seance color, I have to have in every base because I have it in fingering weight. So I got it in DK weight. And I think this is going to be a hat. Nice squishy DK weight hat, because most of my hats are fingering weight, but kind of would like a little bit thicker one for when it gets a little bit colder. So this is a really deep burgundy color with some navies, some like spring greens, and some warm browns. So it's just 100% superwash merino DK weight, and that's from Lavender Loon Yarn Co. And then I got my first skein of Lola Bean Yarn Co. and her colors were so pretty. My sister got some really pretty like bright colors from her. I thought it was funny to see like when we did show and tell at the end of the night, and my sister had her stuff, Andrea had her stuff, and I had my stuff. You could see like each of us have like a very distinct color palette. I think that's so funny how everybody has like their color preferences and stuff. So mine was kind of more muted, neutrals, grays, blues, and natural colors. So this one really spoke to me. It is on her Bean Sprout base, which is an 80/20 superwash merino nylon, fingering weight, and the colorway is Knuckle Sandwich. So it is a steely gray, but then it has speckles of burgundy and navy. It's really pretty. So this will probably be either part of a sweater or maybe a shawl. Probably. I don't think I'll make it into socks because it's my only skein of Lola Bean Yarn Co. and it has to be something special. But it's really nice, and all of her colors were so beautiful. And then the last skein, I got to meet Tyne, who is the Cleverest Stitch on Instagram, and she has designed a bunch of patterns based on Harry Potter, so shawl patterns. I have one of them. I have the Trelawney shawl, and so I was just chatting with her. I'm so excited to meet her and talking to her about Melissa, his shenanigans, because I got to hang out with her at VKL. And so we hung out for a while, and I kept having my eye on this skein of yarn. So I eventually bought it. She was at the Earl Grey Fiber Company booth. And I believe this is probably going to be a Trelawney shawl. I just have to figure out the right skein to go with it. I think it'd be really pretty with a burgundy color. Sorry, my maximum recording time has been reached. So I believe I'll hold this with a burgundy for striping. But this one is Darjeeling sock, and the colorway is Moth Wings. So it is a 75/25 superwash merino nylon, 463 yards, which is pretty generous yardage. So it has grays and, again, those caramel browns and some spring greens, but then it has this pink, this baby pink, and that is what sold me. This was the only skein of this yarn, or of this colorway, that had this baby pink. And I love it. And it's got gray down here. And it's got this brighter raspberry here. I mean, gosh. This is such a complex color. It's so pretty. So it had to come home with me and be mine. So that is the other skein that I purchased at Indian Tangled, and that is everything that I bought. So 6 skeins total at Indian Tangled and 2 sweater quantities at Rhinebeck. I feel like I was pretty restrained. I got what was on my list, and I didn't get a bunch of other stuff. Oh, and I got 2 bags of maple cotton candy. So, I stood in the donut line for an hour and a half. I missed all the meetups because I was in the donut line. So I didn't get to see anyone at the Hill because we were standing in line when the Hill meetups were going on. And then there was a meetup at 2 by the donut line for Nerdbird Makery. Missed that one too. But I met someone that was there visiting from Australia. I believe her user ID is Laura's Crafternoons on Ravelry. And she was very nice. So she was just chatting with us, and we did like the crossword on the back of the map and stuff for Rhinebeck together. So it was fun. We made it as fun as we could being stuck in line. How fun can it be? You're stuck in line. Okay, and then in terms of patterns, these aren't Rhinebeck related, but Meg released another pattern called the Sabrina sweater, and I've been waiting for this one to come out. I think I will not knit mine with the skeletons. I will do just this. It's like the pixelated black going down into the body, so I think I'll do that up here, and I'm not going to make mine cropped either, but I'm going to knit it with the yarn that fell off the couch. I'm going to knit it in this beautiful tweed, which is Debbie Bliss Fine Donegal. For the black sections, I'm going to use this one, which is No Maker's Party Gnome in Fireworks. So it's really like a dark eggplant purple, but I think it'll be really good. And then I think there's another color. So I'm going to do yellow for the parts where it's gray. I'm going to do this gold color, which is Patagonia Organic Merino, but it looks kind of tweedy. And then I have a cream colored tweed that I will use for the white sections. So it's going to be all tweed, all from Stash. I'm very excited. And this one comes in a fingering weight and a DK weight version, so it's really good value for purchasing a pattern. Right. Okay, and then Olga Putano, who is the dyer called Handmade Closet, had a sale post Rhinebeck, and Sam from Lavender Loon was wearing this sweater at Rhinebeck. It's called the Autumn Bloom sweater. Isn't it pretty? So I picked up that one. Then I think it was like buy 2 get 1 free or something like that. So I got the Foxhole sweater also. And I got, did I print the other one? Yeah, I did. The Heartwarming sweater was the third one I bought. So those are all by Handmade Closet. And then I mentioned the upstairs, downstairs patterns by Melissa, who's Skinyanigans, Melissa Alexander Loomis, but I actually printed them so that I'd be able to maybe swatch for my Lucky Charms sweater. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do all the marshmallow colors, so pink hearts, orange stars, yellow moons, green clovers, blue diamonds, purple horseshoes, red balloons, unicorns. And then I will do like a brown, like a light brown for the cereal and a white stripe for the milk. And that'll be all my colors. And then the body of it will be that green that I showed last time that I bought at Wool Gathering for $5 a skein. And I have mini skeins in my stash for all those colors. I think I'm going to use my Mothie and the Squid mini skeins because they're really good and close to those marshmallow colors. So that's that. Sorry, I'm trying to go quick here. The last two things I have to show are magazines. So I subscribe to the Making magazine, and I actually bought my mom a subscription for Christmas as well. So the Forest issue came out, and I got it in my mailbox. And there's so much cute stuff in here. I'm definitely going to make one of these. It's a wood carrier. So when we go camping, we have like an old mesh bag with nylon handles that my husband uses to carry back firewood. But this one's like an open wax canvas type roll to carry firewood. So that'll be great. I'm going to make one of those for our camping gear. There you can see it a little bit better how it works. It's like a sling. And then there's a quilt in here. There's little mushroom ornaments. Susan B. Anderson has a moose in there. And then there is a cardigan in here. Cardigan? Pullover. A pullover in here called the Height Pullover by Paula Pereira. Oh my gosh. It is so pretty. And then the Indoorsy Tunic by Denise Baron. I think that's how she pronounces her name. It's really pretty too. Yeah. There's just a lot of really nice stuff in here for this issue. So the Forest issue of Making. And the last thing I have, a little controversial, but I pre-ordered the last issue of Lane before things kind of blew up. But thinking about it, like a lot of the designers in here put a lot of time and effort into getting their designs in, and it's not their fault that that some things happen. So I definitely will knit some things out of here. Like Miss Apple's little cardie is really pretty. It is steeped, so it's knit in the round and then steeped to make it a cardigan. Looks like just such a nice basic cardigan. And it's by Lucia Ruiz de Aguirre. What's some other ones? The Wristy. This one I want to knit with my gradient I got from Candia's Jewels last year at Indian Tangle, because it's in a, you can see it's like in a gradient, so they kind of fade it up in different colors, and then it has a colorwork yoke with tables. And there's somewhere in here one that's cabled. Not that one. Ramsey. Look at that texture. What? It just looks so cozy. It's just a basic pullover, but I think I've got some, it's boxy and cabled. I think I'm going to rip out my throwback and use that brown yarn for that sweater, because that will get a lot more wear than the throwback. So anyway, that's a couple of the designs out of there that I want to knit. Otherwise, let's see what's been going on. Like I said, my sister and my niece came to visit for Rhinebeck, and my friend Andrea, so everybody was staying here. We successfully managed that with that many guests. I made a bunch of waffles and nobody ate them, but that's fine. We'll have them in the freezer for other people, or I mean for the kids to eat. We did trunk or treat last night, so it's like you go to the school and they've got cars decorated in different ways, and the kids wore their costumes, and then we'll also go trick-or-treating this week coming up. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. It's a lot. So between Indian Tangled and Rhinebeck, that was a lot. Yeah. So I will probably record my next podcast a little bit after the first week of November. And at that point, I think I'll be drawing for the Fall Make-Along winners. And then we'll have one more drawing, like I said, for the Stash Your Shelf Challenge. And hopefully next time I will have all of the clothing sewed up. I will also have pajamas. Hang on. That was the other thing. So this year we are going to take the kids on the Polar Express, which is a train that they have that goes through, I believe, southern Connecticut. And they have it all. It's basically like the Polar Express, but in real life. So all the kids wear pajamas and parents wear pajamas. And so it's a tradition with like a lot of people from my work that they get a car just for our families. And then we all kind of buy into it. So I bought tickets for all of us to go. And that will be like Megwin's birthday thing that we'll do together as a family, since we don't do the gingerbread houses. I haven't found a place to do that here. And so I'm working on planning the Christmas pajamas a little bit early this year so that everyone can have new pajamas to wear. So mine are going to be out of this fabric, which you will recognize from my sushi dress. This is the same doodles, but it's flannel, and it is anthropomorphized sushi on a mint background. So that's going to be for me. Then I think Joshua's will be this. Maybe. He has to decide. But this is just like fun little different sciencey things. I think Megwin's is going to be this because she asked for Harry Potter. So it's Gryffindor flannel. And then Josh's, I've got some space fabric that I bought enough to make pajama bottoms for him and maybe some for Joshua too. I think there's enough to do bottoms for him plus for Josh. And I'll probably just make him like a plain t-shirt, like a navy blue t-shirt, because I think it's got a navy background. So that is the plan right now. So once I finish the sewing for the pictures, turn right around and do the Christmas pajamas so I can make sure they're ready, because I think it's the 21st is when we're doing that. So yeah, I have to have them ready prior to Christmas, which is a little bit accelerated time frame from how I usually do them. I might actually record it though and use some of that content for Vlogmas, because sometimes I struggle if there's a few days in there where I need extra time and I don't have time to record something and edit and upload it. So I try to have a couple of things that I record ahead of time, so I can still, excuse me, have content for you. So that is for reals it. I am going to sign off. Thank you all for joining me. Keep on crafting. Take some time to do the things that you love, and I will talk to you next time. All right, bye-bye.